Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the mysteries, combat tactics, and the legendary loot of the notorious Stray Demon and its variants. We'll be breaking down the rich lore, those community-tested strategies, and the compelling rewards that make this encounter so unforgettable.
So, let's start with a moment that unites almost every single player. You're walking back through the undead asylum, right? You're thinking you've completely conquered this place, and then, well, you find out exactly how wrong you are.
This frantic quote from Reddit user Bluecar, it perfectly captures the shared trauma of the entire community when facing this optional but brutally difficult hidden boss. I mean, it is a massive spike in difficulty. It leaves so many players scratching their heads wondering how a boss with such devastating area of effect attacks ended up literally right under our feet. Section 1, The Asylum's Hidden Prisoner. Let's explore exactly how we end up face-to-face with this monstrosity.
When you return to the tutorial area later in the game, you walk into the very room where you fought the first boss, the Asylum Demon. But this time, the floor literally crumbles beneath you, throwing you into this claustrophobic, inescapable arena with the Stray Demon. It's an absolutely brilliant piece of game design that turns a familiar, safe space into a terrifying trap.
And honestly, the path to even get back there is incredibly obtuse. You don't just walk there. You have to take a specific lift up toward the undead parish, roll off onto a hidden platform, execute a super tricky jump to a ruined tower, and then physically curl up into a ball inside a giant bird's nest and just wait. It's one of those wild secrets that without the internet, many of us would never have even discovered.
But man, once you're there, the design of these demons is undeniably iconic. Series creator Hidetaka Miyazaki actually praised artist Mr. Nakamura specifically for creating these creatures. Miyazaki noted that the designs are simple yet incredibly unpredictable. That's exactly the vibe he wanted for this dark, oppressive world. They just look heavy, ancient, and deeply, deeply dangerous.
Section 2, Lore of the Demons. Let's see how the Stray Demon fits into the broader, tragic history of this universe.
When you look at the Stray Demon and the Demon Firesage side by side, the connection is undeniable. They're essentially mirrors of one another. They both wield the Izalith Catalysts, they're the exact same size, drop the same amount of souls, and share almost identical movesets. Yeah, including that devastating magical explosion. This strongly hints they are contemporaries from the exact same ancient era, practically equals in power.
But this brings up a massive lore question. Why is a creature capable of such ancient magic locked up like a common prisoner beneath an asylum? And furthermore, when you return to the asylum, it's uniquely patrolled by Black Knights. Now we know their specific lore purpose is to hunt demons, so why are they stationed here?
Well, the community consensus, pulled from deep dives into the game's lore, is that the Stray Demon was locked away for his dangerous mastery of old pyromancies from the early ages of the Chaos Flame. Unlike the demons in Anor Londo who used lightning magic given by the gods, the Stray Demon's power is ancient and completely independent. The Black Knights are basically stationed nearby as wardens just to ensure this powerful relic of a bygone era never ever escapes.
Moving on to Section 3, Community Combat Strategies. How do we actually defeat these punishing creatures? Let's rely on some hard-earned community wisdom.
Okay, this breakdown completely busts a massive myth that trips up so many players. You see a boss throwing out glowing, explosive area of effect blasts, and you just naturally assume it's fire damage. But the reality? The boss deals pure magic damage. And ironically enough, despite one of them literally being named the Firesage, they are incredibly weak to bleed and fire damage.
So, to survive, you really need the right gear. The Crest Shield is an absolute must-have for its high magic block against those blasts. Pair that with the Bandit Knife to quickly apply bleed damage. That's going to rip away 10% of the demon's health at a time. Throw on some lightweight armor for fast rolling, pop a few soft humanities for the resistances, and you've got yourself the ultimate demon-slaying loadout.
For years, the absolute standard advice on the forums was to stay glued to the demon's backside. And you know, the logic makes sense. Stay behind him to avoid his massive hammer sweeps, wait for the magic blast, back up, and then run right back in. But, as veteran players eventually realized, that strategy actually carries some pretty severe risks of its own.
There's actually a fascinating community debate here. Players notice that hugging the back triggers the boss's AI to constantly spam that diddly magic blast and spin around, which turns the whole fight into a chaotic mess. The counter strategy? Hug the belly.
Standing directly in front of the demon manipulates its AI into doing a highly predictable, easily dodged downward butt slam. You just roll back, run in, and pummel its stomach. It completely flips the script. Of course, if all else fails and your dodges just aren't quite on point today, the community always provides a reliable, slightly shameless cheese strategy. You can actually lure the stray demon into a corner, back far enough away so his AI de-aggros, and simply spam him with about 60 arrows from a totally safe distance until he drops. Hey, a win is a win, right?
Let's wrap up with Section 4, Spoils of the Victor. Why put yourself through these terrifying fights in the first place? Let's check out the rewards.
In the original game, defeating the stray demon in the asylum secures you a very unassuming item, the peculiar doll. But this is actually an absolutely vital key. Without this doll, you cannot access the painted world of Ariamis, which is that massive, snowy, secret area hidden inside a painting in Hanorlando. The stray demon is quite literally standing between you and an entire optional world. The legacy of this creature is so strong that, skipping ahead to Dark Souls 3, a petrified, flameless stray demon makes a return high above the old wolf of Farron. It's a pretty tragic sight, honestly, a demon lacking even a trace of its former flame. But defeating it here rewards you with the soul of a stray demon, which presents you with a very difficult, build-defining choice. You see, you have to take this boss soul and choose between two distinct rewards through transposition. On one hand, you can craft Havel's Ring, which is an incredibly powerful accessory that massively increases your maximum equip load, pretty much essential for heavy armor and greatsword builds. On the other hand, you could acquire Boulder Heave, a totally unique pyromancy spell that literally spews heavy rocks from your mouth.
Or, if neither of those fit your playstyle, you've got a third option. You can just consume the soul outright for a quick, massive injection of 20,000 souls to level up your character. But be warned, as community notes constantly show, a lot of players have consumed the soul for the quick cash, only to deeply regret it later when they realize they desperately needed Havel's Ring to fix their heavy equipment load. Don't be that guy.
So thinking about your own ultimate build, and knowing the brutal fight it takes to earn it, what would you transpose from the soul of a stray demon? Would you take the practical route with Havel's Ring, embrace the sheer chaos of Boulder Heave, or just take the money and run? It's a choice that perfectly encapsulates the risk and reward of this incredible universe. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring out there.